Howdy, Chris here. We're back in the garage today with another how-to video on how to prep out your primer before you paint. We'll do a final blocking on this bedside, and then I'll share with you how to apply your base coat, clear coat finish. We're going to be doing a two-tone on this bedside, so let's dig in and get started. Here I'm applying a powdered guide coat over our 2K urethane primer. Now we have 2 coats of 2K urethane primer over this, and this is going to allow us enough material to block sand this smooth to prepare it for paint. When we block this out, the powdered guide coat is going to show us any imperfections in our primer. It's going to show us when that primer is smooth. It's going to show us if there's any scratches that remain because that powder will be left in those scratches. This is going to help us to get a nice smooth primer to apply our paint to. We'll start our blocking with 320 grit sandpaper. Right now I'm just cleaning up this body line. There's some imperfections in there. Now there might be a few little pinholes that we have to repair on this body line, but we'll get to that later. Right now we want to focus on getting our primer smooth and ready for paint. I'm using a small flexible block with 320 grit sandpaper, and we're just going to hold our block flat and block it in all different directions over this primer. Now our body work is very straight, so all we're really basically trying to do is flatten out this primer. Now, if we see some low areas or some imperfections, we can take care of those with some polyester glazing putty, which is a thin body filler that's going to fill those little imperfections. Here I'm getting into blocking this larger surface area, so I take my Mirka Firm block. This is a hook and loop block. We're using 3M Cubitron 2 sandpaper, 320 grit, and we're going to block this in an X pattern. So you can see I'm going in all different directions. I'm blocking it in an X pattern, and as you can see, that guide coat will show us any low areas. So we're going to continue blocking out that primer until those low areas disappear, or we break through the primer into like a bare metal or body filler. At that point, we need to reevaluate and see what needs to be done to get it straight. Remember, preparation is key when you're painting your vehicle, and refining these scratches is going to give you a better finish. You do not want to leave any larger scratches that material can shrink into and show up in your repair. It's very important to go through a progression of finer sandpaper before you paint. Now, the progression I use 80 grit for body filler, then we'll block with 180, 320, and once we've blocked our body filler with 320, we can primer over it, and then we'll block that primer with 320 grit sandpaper, and then finally I'll use an orbital sander with a soft interface pad. That's a soft foam pad that flexes with the contours of the body, and I'll use 600 grit sandpaper to prepare that primer for paint. We'll also sand the rest of this bedside with 600 or 800 grit to prepare it for the blend and the clear coat. Off camera, Darius has done the preparation on this bedside, so we're masking it off and get it ready to spray our two-tone color.
So on this one, we're doing a two-tone, obviously, so we're going to spray the black on first. It's a black metallic, so we'll get that all covered first, let that flash off and dry. It's going to have to dry pretty well, so we'll have to wait probably about half an hour, and then we'll tape it off, tape off that line, tape off the black, and then we'll be able to paint the white. Okay, so we're going to use the Eastwood LT100, which is basically the R500, low volume, low pressure paint gun. We'll put on probably 2 to 3 coats on this lower color. Of course, it's all been cleaned with isopropyl alcohol. We finished sanded everything with 800 grit sandpaper. So I'm going to set the air pressure relatively low at about 20 psi. And then the fluid volume, we're going to do 2 turns out from close and a wide open fan pattern.
So the temperature is pretty cool today, so I don't want to put this on really heavy. Normally you want a medium wet coat, but I'm kind of doing a light to medium coat because if I put it on too heavy in colder temperatures, you can get some fisheye. And basically what we want to do is introduce this paint to the surface, get it to flash, and then we have a good base to apply our second coat. So after this coat, we'll go ahead and put a heat lamp on it to help it cure so we can mask off this black and apply our white. Now, I picked up this heat lamp off Amazon, and if you are interested in any of the tools or products I use, I always leave the links in the description of the video. So I went ahead and masked off the lower black, and now we're going to go ahead and start applying the white over this bedside. So I always like to get good coverage on the primered areas first before we start blending out into the rest of the panel. And once again, I'm not trying to put it on real heavy on the first coat. We just want to introduce that paint to the surface, get it covered, let it flash off, and then we'll apply 1 or 2 more coats.
I'll put a little color here.
Listen, if you're finding this information helpful, go ahead and join our community by subscribing to the channel. In 2024, we've got some restoration projects coming up. I'm going to walk you through all the steps to restoring a project. We got a 54 Chevy Fat Fender truck that we're going to be restoring and a Datsun 260Z. I'm applying one of the final coats of base over this primered area, and then I'm going to share with you how we can blend into the rest of this bedside to get a good transition in our color. Now this white blend is not very difficult, but if you're blending a high metallic finish, what I do for those blends is I do what they call a drop coat, where you move a few extra inches, 2 to 3 extra inches away from the panel, and then you'll put a light to medium coat on it. Now you don't want it to be dry, you don't want to just dust coat it, because that'll cause sand piling, which is a roughness in your base coat, and you want your base coat to be silky smooth for that clear coat. I went ahead and mixed up some clear off camera. Now the clear coat we're using is the Finish One FC710. This is a spot panel clear. It's a high solids clear. It mixes up 4 to 1. Finish One is made by Sherwin-Williams. It's a real good quality budget clear coat that runs about $110 for the kit. That's the clear coat and the activator. And I've had good luck with it. I've had vehicles that I painted 5 years ago that still look great today. Before we started spraying our clear, we pulled the paper on the black. We made sure no white had seeped through into our two-tone, so you want to make sure that's nice and clean. We went ahead and tack ragged this off, and a tack rag is just a sticky cloth that you wipe down, make sure it's dust-free before we start spraying our clear. Now the gun we're using today is the YT160. This is a low volume, low pressure paint gun. I've got a lot of videos on these type of paint guns. They're really good paint guns for hobbyists or guys working out of their garage. If you're not using a paint booth and you want to save in materials and limit the amount of overspray. So you can check those out. I'll have links in the description for this paint gun and all the other paint guns I use. Now as far as the gun settings, for clear coat, I like to set these guns at 30 psi on the air pressure. As far as the fluid volume, I'll turn my fluid volume knob all the way in, and then I turn it 2.5 turns out from closed. And I have my fan pattern set at wide open. When spraying clear coat, you want good atomization of your clear coat, and in order to get that, you need your air pressure and your fluid volume to work together to atomize that clear. If you're new to clear coat, you can start by setting your gun at 28 to 30 psi. Most guns atomize efficiently at that range. Now, I would start off with a little bit lower setting on your fluid volume. That's why I start out with 2.5 turns out from closed. Don't open your fluid volume up all the way and start spraying. You can get runs. Limit the amount of material coming out of the gun at first. Now, if you see that you're not getting enough material and it's going on a little bit dry, then gradually bump up your fluid volume until you get the desired results. This is going to help you understand how that air pressure atomizes the clear coat, and it may save you from getting a curtain of runs down your panel. Now we're applying the second coat of clear, and this is where I want to hit it just a little bit harder, put a little bit more material on the panel, because now that we've introduced that clear to the surface, it can hold it without running. A couple other things to remember when you're new to spraying clear coat is you want to have a consistent overlap in your passes. Typically that's about 75 to 80%. So when you make a pass, you want to overlap that previous pass 75 to 80%. You also want to have a consistent distance and speed when you're spraying. Now I spray about 4 inches away. Your distance from the panel when applying clear coat is going to affect how that clear coat lays on the panel. If you're closer to the panel, you're putting more material on that panel, so you may need to move just a little bit quicker. I would suggest you do a test panel with this clear coat, play with the gun settings, and play with your speed and your distance, and then you can get a good idea of how that's going to affect your finish. So now I'm just finishing up the second coat of clear on this bedside. Remember, you want to wait 10 to 15 minutes in between coats, especially in these colder temperatures. You want to make sure that clear coat is tacky before you start applying your second coat. I know there can be so many different types of challenges when you're working at home out of your garage on your own restoration or repair project. I have a ton of information on my channel. This entire channel is dedicated to the guy, the weekend warrior that's working out of his garage trying to get his project done. I want to help you out. So all you have to do is join our community by subscribing to the channel. Make sure you click that bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Soon I'll have a series dedicated to just painting your vehicle in the cold temperatures. I got 3 different restorations that we need to do, so there's going to be a full video series on those, and there's going to be a ton of information in those videos, so make sure you're following along.
We're finishing up this Dodge truck repair. We repaired the bedside on this, straightened a good sized dent in there. I want to share with you the finished product. After we cleared it, came out beautifully. It's got a couple little particles of dust. Not too much dust, but there's some dust here. Well, basically, I'm just going to do a light polish on this. We're going to nib out some of these particles of dust right here, and then I'm going to do a light buff on this.
I do have a video on this, how we cut and buff this bedside on this particular truck, so you can check that video out on the channel. Listen, if you want to learn more steps on how you can restore your project at home, check out the channel, join the community, and subscribe. I appreciate each and every one of you watching, and we'll see you next time on Garage Noise.